Hey guys, welcome to another episode of IPC Think Out Cloud Webcast, your favorite cloud-based talk show about all things cloud computing. I'm Ivan Monte, and we're broadcasting live from the IPC offices in Makati City, Philippines. In the previous episode about the contact center industry, we focused on disaster recovery in the BPO space and how a cloud-based solution like IPC VOICES can help mitigate the risk of unavailability in times of a disaster. This time, the focus is on the actual business benefits of putting up a cloud-based system as opposed to a traditional hardware telephony system. Aside from the obvious cost savings, how can a cloud-based call center solution like IPC VOICES drive revenue further? To talk more about the topic, via video patch from Oslo, Norway, we have the CTO of BlueCloud Australia, Mr. Morten Blomfeldt. Hello, Morten. Great to have you with us.
Hey, Nino. Thanks a lot for having me.
We appreciate you taking the time out to join us today and give us your thoughts on how we can improve, the operations of the BPO industry here in the Philippines, which is quite bustling, as you may know.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to follow, and as you said, it's really bustling. There's a lot of things going on, and I think what I think is great to talk about is just some of these changes that are happening, and technology-wise, things are now happening at a crazy pace. What we can do now was really hard to do as late as just 2 or 3 years ago. And I think it's worth looking at some of those things going on, because we're talking about cloud here, and in the call center space, technology in general in call centers is a $22 billion industry. So it's a huge industry. People use insane amounts of money on equipment for call centers. And currently, only about 10% of that is on cloud-based systems. And if we think back a few years, the situation was pretty similar in the CRM space, where we now see that more than 90% is actually coming from cloud-based systems. And I think what has happened in the last few years, especially in the Philippines, we can think about what's happened in terms of cloud infrastructure, which you guys are a great example of, and of course overall connectivity, what kind of internet people are able to get. Those things now make it possible to get cloud-based system, which it's not just a more cost-effective solution than a lot of the on-prem systems, but it's also performance-wise definitely on par as well. So that means that there's a lot of changes that have happened recently, which I think hasn't really translated into action in all companies out there.
Absolutely agree with you, Morten. Here at IPC, we believe that the products such as IPC VOICES are able to drive costs down and lessen the complexity of management. At the same time, maximize the business potential of both the client and the call center operator. I guess the burning question here is how is it done, and give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, at how is really important, but we'll get back to that. I think that let's just look at some examples here and just to illustrate it. Let's say I'm running a big office supplies company in Australia. I might have a nationwide coverage, and I am looking for a call center to service my needs, and I look towards the Philippines. And let's say that, Ace, I mean, you look like a call center operator, so let's pretend that you are a call center operator. How will you entice me to use your call center?
Well, I say I have the most experienced call center agents, and I say they have the mastery of the language. I will also say that the rates are low, and I have vast experience in running a call center. Basically, just about it.
Which I think is pretty standard, right? And I think that's where it would be the same kind of response from so many players in the Philippines, because you'll say, I mean, you need to say pretty much the same thing. And I think that's where IPC Voices and this type of cloud technology actually starts to create a new thing now, and creates a new opportunity on how you can actually make technology a big differentiator for you and your call center.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sort of, the way I normally talk about it is that the three basic ways that you could really use this technology in a way that helps you both win and retain business. And I think the first way to look at it is just about the scalability of it. You know, as a cloud-based solution, and you guys know this, as a cloud-based solution, this is something that is instantly scalable, which means that any requests that come in, you can immediately scale up, and when your campaign is ending, you can scale down. So it's the speed of being able to do this, you know, in a matter of hours, and the flexibility that gives. So you don't have to invest in any equipment or charge, you know, huge setup fees from your customers. You can just get going with it, and that flexibility, I think, is something that can be a big differentiator for you when you're doing this. So that's one thing. The second thing is that with access to the technology. Imagine this: you are maybe outsourcing for the first time. I'm this office supplies company, and I'm outsourcing for the first time. My biggest concern would be, what is really happening in the call center? How can I have an idea of what's really going on? How many calls are being received or made? What's actually happening in the call center? And I think the advantage of a cloud-based solution such as IPC Voices is that they can log in directly into the system, have a complete overview of what's going on, and the call center in the Philippines can actually offer this as a service to their customers overseas. So that gives them a level of trust which is hard to build otherwise. And I think the final big thing is really the reliability and security aspect of it. You know, this professional cloud facility like what IPC have in the Philippines, give people a totally different level of both security and reliability compared to locally hosted solution in a call center. What happens if there's a flood? What happens if the IT techie isn't around that day and they have a problem? All those problems are no longer there. So I think that's in terms of knowing that for the customer.
I absolutely. I hear you, and in these times where everything is volatile, we live in a country that is at I guess the edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire, and it's so easy to be affected by natural calamities, and at the same time, in terms of business, scaling up and scaling down is always a challenge, especially for startup BPOs and even those that have that are the large players already need to be able to I guess spin up a campaign immediately. Clients really like to hear that their needs can be catered to easily, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and that's where I think that all these are concerns in the heads of the companies that are interested in outsourcing this type of work. They are definitely on top of their heads, and I think it's great when you can use technology to overcome these challenges and make them a very strong selling point for your business. And I wanted to say a little bit as well, just to add to what I said before about the flexibility of these cloud solutions. Because again, Ace, let's say this time, this time you're running like a market research company, right? And that campaigns in that space change really, really fast. You get tons of different things coming at you from all different directions, and you need to change really fast. So if you're using like a traditional technology solution, how can you advise me to become your customer? Because I'm going to throw you all kinds of work, and how can you convince me that you can change quickly enough?
Well, let's just say, even if my system is mainly hardware driven, I'll still say that I can accommodate the varying feature needs within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, well, of course, you would have to say that, right? But I would question then, what is reasonable? Because I think that, in the industry, people are sort of grown accustomed to 5 days or 15 days and all this being reasonable. But I don't think it is reasonable anymore because technology now allows you to move much quicker. And with IPC Voices, for example, it's now possible to give the company direct access to do certain things on the actual running campaign. That means that they themselves can log on, they can load up lists, they can change campaign settings, and do all this real time, so that the call center can just focus on what they do, which is making the calls and making sure that they have the right agents making those calls.
Right.
The customer overseas can actually do the changes they need to directly. That saves time, even further. Yeah, so that's another good argument for IPC Voices and this technology.
So the communication to the client is more effective in a way that the call centers can tweak the campaign or the setup will best suit them at that time, right? Is there another business benefit of effective business communication because of IPC Voices?
Sorry, I didn't get that last question, Ace. Can you repeat it?
Is there another business benefit that is effective in terms of realizing the business using IPC Voices?
Yes, I think that we haven't even talked about the cost side of things yet, which of course,
good point.
We sometimes skip the obvious, but I think that cost is an obvious thing, and I think that there are plenty of things out there, and there are solutions that open source solutions such as Vici Dial and others that look on paper like they're very low cost solutions. But I think
that it's thinking that it's they're saving because it's a free solution, but if you look at it much deeper, they're actually costing more, or they're losing more of their business, right?
It's costing actually a lot more, and that's because that requires that you have people that are specialists in your team that can actually run it as well, and the cost of having that of course is quite significant as well. Plus, of course, you need to maintain your own servers and do that bit, which is a bit of a headache. The big advantage that IPC Voices has as well over a lot of other cloud solutions is, of course, the fact that it's hosted locally in the Philippines, which really makes a big difference in terms of performance, which we've seen in terms of the clarity of the sound and everything. Right?
Local support.
Sorry?
Local instance and local support.
Yeah. And of course, you mentioned the next thing I was going to say with the local support and everything that comes along with it. So I think that local system, local support is really strong, and of course, being able to help out with any questions that they might have around connectivity and all these things, which IPC can also help out with at the same time.
Correct.
So, as I know that you guys are offering some really good rates as well for companies that are keen to sign up for IPC Voices, and that the fact that you're doing that as well now, I think makes it a really good time for people to look into this and just give it a go. I mean, the thing about a cloud solution like this is that you can test it at any time. You can You can set it up with a limited number of users and try it out and see for yourself. I mean, even test it against your existing system, and I'm pretty sure you'll love what you see when you try it. So when I summarize some of the things we talked about here now, I think what we want to leave people with as well is that understanding that, number one, that it really helps you as an operator win your business and retain your business, retain your customers by giving them more transparency and greater understanding of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
We talked about cost, right? So the second thing is that cost is definitely going to go down. So you'll have something which is cheaper but also more secure and more reliable, which we also talked about. So those are some really great cloud benefits. And finally, that you can drop that reliance on one or two or three guys in your operation, your IT experts that are used to running and maintaining your on-premise system. You are so sensitive to having those guys around. If one of them is out for one shift, you might have a huge issue, and you might even lose a client over it. And having that peace of mind that the system is running, it's being maintained in a professional facility, and it's being supported by a group of professionals, it's a huge difference to running the business. So those three things I think are worth taking away from this chat, and good reasons why I think it's worth looking into IPC Voices a bit closer.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, IPC Voices is a cloud solution. Being a cloud solution, I mean, there's nothing to install. There's, very minimal system requirements needed. And all you really need is a good internet connectivity and a browser, right? And that poses an advantage definitely for even the startup BPOs out there. So at this point, let's see if we have any questions from the viewers. There's a few here. Okay, first question is, given this setup, what will be my IT team's new role in the call center? I think it was just answered. Morten just before.
We halfway answered it. The thing is, okay, some people think that, okay, what is going to happen? Do I need to fire my IT team, or what's going to happen? Well, what we've seen, at least from our experience, is that very few companies have decided to at least fire their entire team, because there's a lot of, it's still really important that you have, well-running hardware for like all the computers and everything need to run smoothly in the office. And a lot of them also give the people that used to be responsible only for the technical bits are given more responsibility for monitoring the actual campaign and making sure that, the efficiency targets are met, and looking at analytics about all the campaigns running. Because the other thing with cloud solutions like this is that everything is so transparent, and that makes all the information easily available. So that means that businesses can be smarter about how they run their campaigns and analyze the performance much closer to the campaign. So that's another role I think that usually the people that know these systems, like the techies do, they can easily fill that new role.
I see. Okay. So I hope that answers the question. We have another question here. Yeah, I guess this is for those that, well, most of them have their existing setup already. I mean, the question is a hybrid approach possible? How can I still make use of my existing setup? I guess this is a question from, I guess, a call center that's already made an investment, and would like to, I guess, explore cloud services as well.
Yeah, look, there's many ways of doing this, and I won't be able to answer all the scenarios now, but I'll stick to some of the ones that are most common. of course, we will probably tell you that, oh, you don't need that system anymore, but but we know that you have it.
Yeah.
So it may work well for what you are using, for some of the things you are using it for. So any combination of what you have and IPC Voices is possible. IPC Voices can be made to integrate with whatever you are running on site, which means that you can use your existing phones, headsets, etc., together with IPC Voices. And that way, you know, you can use it as a way to scale up the business from where you are now. Instead of investing in more equipment, you can scale up using IPC Voices, and then you can consider maybe down the track whether you want to completely shift to cloud or whether you still want to run some things on your existing system. Right. So I think what we typically say is that, you know, we want to give you that flexibility. So if you want to use a hybrid, that's definitely possible, but it's not necessary, at least with IPC Voices, if you want to go all cloud.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. There's another question here. It says, my team are used to the Avaya system, which is very expensive. If we go IPC Voices, how fast can my team familiarize themselves? Actually, I think it has some follow-up question, I think, regarding, you know, replacement and familiarization.
Okay, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Since it's just the three of us talking, so I'll let you guys know. All right. When a system is expensive, that normally means that it has a lot of different settings and places and configurations that you can do with it, which in a way is good, right? Because that means that, oh yeah, it can be made to do this, so you can make it do that or whatever. So with IPC Voices and BlueCloud, which is our company powering it, we have a completely different philosophy. We have a philosophy that this should be simple to set up. This should be something that you know, a non-techie can get his head around and actually use. So anyone who's running Avaya and is worried about, you know, running through a big process and changing to a new technology such as IPC Voices should not be worried at all. IPC Voices is a type of technology that we typically run a 3-hour intro workshop. Put it like this: we're on a 3-hour intro workshop for new customers, and at the end of that workshop, new customers are completely comfortable using this solution themselves, because everything is web-based. They use a web browser like they normally do. All the settings are so straightforward. So the big difference is really that with an Avaya system, you need to spend weeks to get familiar with it. With IPC Voices, you spend half a day. So so that's you can think for yourself what the difference is that is.
A faster business turnaround.
Yeah.
It's
any more questions? Are there any more? Let's say just one more. The
question says, I have a meeting with a potential client who has to have a campaign. Can you give pointers on how to present an IPC Voices driven call center?
Okay.
Okay, I think I touched on that a few times, you know, initially when we talked here, and I think I think if you have a potential client like this, and you want to present to them that sort of the benefits of running IPC Voices, I think it's important to stick to some of the points that we mentioned earlier about the fact that it gives them, you know, the reliability of having this in a facility such as IPC with, you know, professional hosting and reliability, security, and all that taken care of, and that they get that scalability that we talked about, that you can easily follow any requirements that the customer has. So if the potential client, you know, may say that, oh, but what happens if I need 50 more seats tomorrow? You know, typically they'll be like, whoa, what to do? But now you're comfortable with it because no problems. You know, we can add that instantly. All you need to worry about, of course, is how you can get enough people on the phone to deal with it. which of course has its own challenges, but technology-wise, that's no longer a concern, because you don't have to worry about what equipment you need to buy or anything like that. It's just about click of a button and you're ready to go. And of course, immediately when you're done, and you can easily just cancel the subscriptions you don't need anymore. So for you, that's not a concern either.
And to add to that, if you need more information regarding IPC Voices, we will provide the link below the team. You can send it the email later, so you can have more information regarding the product, so you can have more information, more features that you can extend to your end customers.
Yes. Okay. So I guess that was the last question. I guess that concludes this episode of Think Out Cloud. Morten, thank you very much for taking the time off to join us and provide your insight and input about this topic. We truly appreciate your efforts here. Morten, do you have any parting words for our viewers at this point?
No, I think, well, obviously the pleasure is all mine for being here, and I'm so happy to be working with IPC on this. I think this IPC is I have to brag a bit about IPC because I don't think they will do it themselves, or maybe they will, but they are really a remarkable company in terms of defining how cloud services should be run, especially in the Philippines, because I think there are some special considerations in the Philippines as well, given that infrastructure is not always as great as in some other markets, but they have really spearheaded how cloud services should be set up. So I think the combination of that know-how about the local market and a good cloud solution like what we have provided from BlueCloud creates a really, really good product in IPC Voices, and I'm very proud to be part of it. So can't wait to continue next.
Oh, thank you very much, Morten, for your very kind words. I really appreciate that. And yes, definitely we should get together soon. Hopefully we'll in person. Yes, thank you very much. So folks, that concludes this episode. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach us at the sales team at ipc.ph. The live broadcast can be viewed again through our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/ipcph and you check out all the other videos that we have on there. So thank you again, Morten, and on behalf of the IPC team, everybody who's tuned in, thank you, and see you on the next webcast. Bye.